Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and we've got a fun episode for you, as we always do here on VCTV, talking today about business inclusion, helping to welcome those that are looking to make investments for the first time, either as angel investors or new VCs, but also entrepreneurs looking to make fundraising happen for their companies, also start a company for the first time as well. How do we do that? Where do we get started? What are some of the opportunities? What are some of the platforms to get started on? Well, we've brought some outstanding co-hosts from around the world to share with us their thoughts and insights around this entire industry to prepare you on both sides, entrepreneurs and investors, for this area as well. And a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible. Check us out on LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. With that being said, Gianpaolo, welcome back to the show. A little introduction.
Thank you very much for having me here today, Kyle. Welcome, everybody. This is Gianpaolo Pariti. I'm a chairman of a single family office in New York, and I'm a venture capitalist and private equity with activities globally. And as today we speak about the inclusion, I'm very happy to tell you that, I made that really a tenet of my activity forever. Our group overall includes people from 5 continents. I think last time I checked, it's probably over 40 nationalities, and about 59% are women. So I think, trying to keep up the ante and trying to get better and better. Back to you, Kyle. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you as well, Gianpaolo. Excited to dive a little deeper on that and why you made this such a part of your business, for good reason, of course, but also to learn more as to why and how. And we'll come back to that as well. Jason, welcome back to the show. A little intro, a little background.
Great. Thank you for having me, Kyle and LATOKEN. Always great to be here. Propel Ventures is about boldly investing in companies powering the future. We focus on B2B industries throughout the Midwest in the U.S., such as future work, fintech, edtech, supply chain, and a few others. We are very focused on filling the funding gap at the earliest stages of funding, generally right after the angel round and right before the seed round. We focus on really bringing that professional capital to these deals, and many times can lead the opportunity or lead the round as well. I also run the Founder Institute chapter in Chicago. It's a global program in 220 cities around the world. And our group of founders, some of the most diverse founders that I've ever worked with in my 20+ career working in the entrepreneur and investment community. So this is a great topic. I'm excited to explore this with all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. Noble, welcome to the show. A little intro, a little background.
Hi, guys. My name is Noble Dracone. I'm one of the managing partners of Dracone Capital Partners. I'm also an advisor for an accelerator incubator group called M Accelerator in downtown Los Angeles in California. We've got a huge, we tend to be tech agnostic. We work with companies, whether it's food, services, or clothing, or there's a fertility circle that we're working with, women-owned in Britain and the UK. And so it's a huge, diverse group, both myself being US-based and Alessandro originally being from Italy. We've got a number of people from around the globe that we work with, from Japan to the UK to Australia, to help them find funding in that kind of pre-seed, seed round level, anywhere from the $25,000 to $100,000 range. And then we kind of shepherd them along in the accelerator incubator to then get ready to go for the next Series A round. Back to you, Kyle.
Thank you, Noble. Dr. Srikanth, welcome back to the show as well. Happy Tuesday. A little introduction and background for everybody.
Of course. I am a financial advisor and a legal counsel for the Forbes 500. And I'm the guy that looks at your pitch decks when you send it to the family offices. And I am the guy who incidentally also says a yay or a nay. So over the course of about 13 years now, I have said more nays than yays. But of course, things are changing, and we are saying more years now. I have recently closed a deal of a complete buyout of a company for about $30 million. And as a legal counsel, I also advise on term sheets and other aspects which may be incidental to the overall funding process as such. I'm here to talk about not only business inclusion, but also idea inclusion that we are talking about or deliberating in boardrooms very, very seriously. Back to you, Guy.
Wonderful. Thank you. Adrian, to you. Welcome to the show. A little intro, a little background, please.
Hello, Kyle. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me again in VCTV, LATOKEN family. Very happy to be here, and an amazing topic today. I'm Edu Niculescu, serial entrepreneur and investor. My genius zones are marketing, sales, and business development, and I practice, not just preach. Besides my advisory roles and board membership slots, I'm involved in few projects: CloudCoin Consortium, CloudCoin, the post-blockchain, digital currency, Faster Capital, Saga Global Ventures, a venture capital firm in UK. I'm also a mentor in Richard Branson's Virgin Startups program in UK. Happy to be here and to contribute.
Happy to have all of you contributing today. And Gianpaolo, let's kick it off with you. I mean, talking about business inclusion, you've made this a part of your business plan and your business thesis, structure as you've built it out. Tell us a little bit more as to what this means to you, but also how other organizations and investors out there should be thinking about business inclusion.
Well, I think, it boils down to how you see the world. I always thought that, there's a great, enrichment and really possibly even a deeper understanding of different angles in business and life by having in one group, in one team, and people from different diverse backgrounds, nationalities, heritage. I think it's what makes really many countries beautiful, because they have diverse, people from all over. And why not choosing the same principle in business? Too much of the same type of people stifles creativity, slows down business development, and ultimately affects or impairs the growth of any business. Of course, you have to be able to put yourself on the line and question your assumption on a daily basis, because when you deal with people that are coming from different backgrounds, still respecting, of course, I would say the structure and the chain of command of the company, but you have to be prepared to deal with different ways of seeing the world, tackling problems, solving issues, or even confronting issues. For some of us, certain topics could be issues, for others are not, or vice versa. So it's really a constant blending of your personality and everybody else in the process, and a constant challenging of your assumption. But I found, and I wouldn't really, if I had to start ever again, I would do it exactly as I did it, because I found this, the most exhilarating, exciting, and fantastic way to do business. And the nice flip side of the coin is that, of course, you are local into a lot of different markets and sectors of the economy. So you never find yourself an outsider. And that sometimes can be the difference between make it and bringing it, or closing a deal at better terms than your competitors can, faster than your competitors can. Sometimes, there's not a lot of competitors for what you're doing when you have such a multiculti, like the Germans say, team of specialists from around. And bear with me, I do primarily work in finance and technology, but I do not take in my group people coming only from the financial industry. In fact, quite the contrary, I have aggregated people from all walks of life: scientists, engineers, consultants, professors, even people that have experiences in philosophy and psychology. So there's a really a combination, because we are way more than our business card title define us with, I think, and everybody's the same. So I think everybody's a jewel. Everybody can deliver a lot in an organization in which they feel to be a real component of it, not just another, part of the mechanism. I mean, people have to be, imbued with purpose, and because they have, all the potentiality within themselves to be already fantastic outperformers. Too bad it in certain organizations, there is this attitude that, of course, I would say your superiors would not hire anybody that's more intelligent than them. I try to hire all the time people that are, more intelligent than I am, because, and or more prepared in something, because that's how you grow. That's how you, better your bottom line. You minimize risks. You de-risk the venture. So I think I've said enough. I mean, I cannot see but benefits by embracing, inclusion at every level of personal and professional life.
Completely agree. You guys shaking heads around the panel today. Jason, I want to come to you next. I saw you agreeing with a lot of what Gianpaolo said. You've also worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. Noble, I'll be coming to you next on this. Tell us a little bit about your view of business inclusion, helping those start their first business, make their first fundraise, and kind of welcoming into a space that may be unfamiliar for most.
Yeah, happy to. I'll start with the Founder Institute, the program that I've been involved with for 10 years, at least in Chicago. As I mentioned before, it's always been very diverse in terms of founders. We provide a platform for any type of founder to build a business. We also have a female founder initiative, so we're trying to get more females to women to build businesses. So that's been a big push for at least 6 years now, 5 or 6 years now. But we've we don't limit, we let anyone in, of course, and it's been such a diverse group of founders. So we provide the platform, the mentorship, and the opportunity to build a company. So again, it's been a part of my DNA for the last 10 years as I've been involved with the Founder Institute. And also just in terms of startups looking to raise capital or raising capital for a fund, et cetera, I think it's all, to me, it's all about the founder, and, it shouldn't be decided on the background of the founder. It should be about, the opportunity with the individual. And so there's a lot of great opportunities with all types of individuals. And there's a lot of intentionality now of backing diverse founders, which is great. I mean, it should have never really even been a thing, to not be inclusive. But the fact is there's so many efforts, especially in Chicago and the Midwest. We have a ton of new funds being launched, or existing funds that have an intentional effort to invest in more diverse founders. So, it's finally happening. It should have never been an issue, but that's the way things have been in some areas. And so super excited to see where it's gone. And just excited to see the momentum really across the world. So there's a lot of great things happening, a lot of great opportunities that some investors were missing as a result. And now everything is open, which again, it should have been before, but a lot of great companies and founders are going to be raising money right now.
Thank you, Jason. Noble, I want to come to you next on this. I mean, you also work with Alessandro at M Accelerator. You guys work with a lot of first-time founders. Again, tell us about your experience and advice for those looking to build their first company or do their first fundraise.
Yeah, I think this forum is very special, Kyle, on VCTV, and what you do in bringing people to be a part of it. Because, I love everybody's real push and belief for inclusion and business and how it operates. But, let's look at some cold hard statistics, right? We look at the Fortune 500 companies, only 7% ethnically diverse, may with women holding positions as CEOs, maybe less than 9% minorities in that mix, which overlaps with the women component, right? And the Fortune 500, you look at the Russell 300, only 10% of the directors are non or ethnic minorities. And I can only speak to the US, right? And we look at VCs, and on the average, VCs, are still underfunding minority enterprises. Like 2.4% of VC investment in the last 7 years has even gone to Black or Latinx businesses. Yet we know that these are two populations that contribute significantly to the financial landscape. So, when we look at how we were really comprising Accelerator, we looked at these true inequalities. Nothing's going to happen in a day. We don't expect things like Black Lives Matter or any of these other things to change the narrative overnight. But the reality is there's a lot of really good founders that are still struggling to get some spotlight on their business and to get people to look at them not only as viable CEOs of companies, but also as viable idea bringers. We know for a fact that when someone is comprising their team, if you have people who have had successful exits in the past, you get more looks at by both angel and VCs. If you have people who have successful funding in the past, regardless of fail, you find them being shepherded and mentored along the pathway. But that's just really not the case when you're a first-time entrepreneur, no matter what ethnicity you are. If you don't have the right connections and you're able to create the correct board. And so it's doubly 5 times as difficult when you just don't move in those circles and you're a Black or a Latinx founder. So, when we created Accelerator and we really set out to look past the people and their direct relationships, and we felt that we would be the ones to give them those direct relationships. I've been in the investment industry for over 28 years. I've written 7 books on trading, investing, and options and futures. And even I had difficulty finding doors to open on projects that I created, regardless of my pedigree and relationships. So at Accelerator, our whole focus is to really focus on the ideas, really not accentuate the founders, both ethnicity or sex, and really help them build a business that stands so that they can push through the doors. The idea of business inclusion is not a charity event. No one who does not deserve the money should ever receive the money. But the question is those people who are on the cusp of learning how to create operations properly, those people who are trying to create their business model and figure out how to scale and don't really understand the requirements of subcontractors and creating a business enterprise that can scale from 2 million to 100 million. We look to help those founders focus on developing their business so that they become bulletproof in their conversations when they lack all the other components that bring capital to them and get them pushed forward. And so, I love the idea of business inclusion. I think that, the whole entire system has always been built on business inclusion. From the Dutch East India Company that traveled around the world, from the Silk Road. It's only now that things have become confused in how we barter, how we interact with one another.
Thank you, Noble. Jose, I want to come to you next on the similar question. I know this is a very dear and near topic for you as well. You brought it to our attention here at VCTV as a topic, and so want to come to you and just hear your thoughts on this as well.
Well, business inclusion definitely is a big problem on a global scale. I'm going to have a different approach today than I normally do. The statistics are what they are, and the society is handling it the way it does. We definitely need some alternatives on the market. I think it will come one way or the other, either to decentralization or either to the community, which is today working on decentralization, which could even be the crypto community. So I see that a lot of things are going to change. It may take some time. We don't know exactly how these things are going to work out. But definitely I expect that some very good solutions will come on the market, that we will have benefits from it, and that we are able to support improvement. And I'm talking always about the self-employed, micro companies, small businesses, because the medium business sizes and the big companies, they have their own solutions and they have their own access to financial resources, which is not the case for the most needed. So I always like to focus on them. And maybe we can get that percentage down. By the way, the average role percentage of closing down in the first year is 85%. So I never told it on any show. You have countries that are like 96, 97%, and countries that are down up to 75, but on average it's about 85%. So you can understand that from the 45 million people that kick off every year, around 35 million just close down every year. So it's a huge problem.
Thank you, Jose, very much. Adrian, coming to you next. I see you're unmuted. So anything to add to Jose's point, but also your thoughts around business inclusion?
When I speak about business inclusion, I like to add a few other concepts which work in sync with this. One of them is the concept of decentralization, and also the concept of crowd intelligence and open source. And in the connected world we are today, it's very easy actually for anybody really wanting to be included in this ecosystem to perform some steps ahead and actually to be included. The limits are only in your head. And of course, nobody will discover you until you will do your first steps. So you need to put yourself out there, even if it sounds very uncomfortable. Pitch people on LinkedIn, ask them for feedback, even ask for help. And sometimes we are so ashamed that we don't even ask for help, which is very bad. I'm also guilty of that so many times. Inclusion is a real thing. Can save businesses, can save lives, because if you don't see yourself as available, you can have a lot of problems. And being included, making yourself included, you, your business, your startup, your projects, helps everything flourish.
Thank you, Adrian. Dr. Hoth, coming to you next. Your thoughts and some of the work that you've done in this space as well.
So insofar as business inclusion is concerned, I think that we have reached a point where family offices or investors that I represent have a nice bouquet of investments that they have made, and also the size of investments that they have made, right from $20,000 up until maybe $30 million. So they have, for example, recently they have made a social impact investment, which was purely run for farmers and in a tier 2 city in India, and so on and so forth. So from a business inclusion perspective, I think what we are, like I said in my prelude, is that what we are trying to achieve is that the idea inclusion is coming out to be a fundamental aspect, which is a person with a good idea should never hesitate, like my colleagues in the panel said, should not hesitate to contact a family office or me or any one of us, whether the idea is good, bad, or average, it doesn't really matter. It just means that you have to make the first effort of reaching out, and idea inclusion is something that we are looking for. And having a portfolio of businesses that we have, it makes sense to also have a portfolio of ideas that we could possibly invest. So that has been my experience in the past 1 year, because there has been a lot of pivoting happening in the last 1 year, of course, due to the circumstances that we are in.
And with that being said, I mean, looking towards the future, I mean, how can we all make a better effort around business inclusion, whether that's investing or helping those looking to start their business forward? Dr. Shikoth, I'm going to start with you and come back around. So, how can we make a better future and do more individually, or advice to those that are listening? And then, of course, where can everyone find you online to continue the conversation as well?
I think a good place to start would be to actually start reaching out to us and be very transparent about what stage of business that you're. There's no need to sugarcoat the ideas anymore. There is no need to say that we are expecting a huge round of investment and so on and so forth, because investors can see through it. This phenomenon did not exist right now. It existed long back. But I think the future of having a business inclusion would be a situation where anyone could reach out to anyone, and we have the 2-degree separation between the investor and the potential investee, so that the investee doesn't have to go through the 6 degrees of separation that she or he used to do that earlier. So I think that would be a great starting point. And I'm reachable. My name is pretty long, but I am the only Dr. Shrikant Pathasarathi out there who is a legal counsel. So that should be searchable.
Thank you very much. Noble, to you, same question. Noble, looks like we might have had you muted there, so we'll see if we can unmute you and get you right back. There you go.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I think that it's a goal to have, but it's also to be aware and cognizant. You have bizarre things in the U.S. where you have people getting appraisals for homes, and if they're African American or Latinx, they're appraised less. And then you have a white friend come in with the same type of appraiser, and the house is valued double. You have people going in for loans, and if you're first year Black or Latinx in business, you're 7 times less likely to get a loan. So I think that it has to go beyond the esoteric. We have to really demand a lot more of our institutions that interact with us. And we also have to be a lot more cognizant that it's okay if people don't have same backgrounds as we do, or look the same, or behave the same, and really focus on the profitability and if we can shepherd the project along. And so, it's always easy to reach me. I'm on LinkedIn.com. You can reach me, Noble Dracone, there, or at my last name on Twitter, @Dracone. And, I love being on these panels, and I love everybody's progressive thinking. It just never really matches up with the reality of what business inclusion is really happening.
Thank you, Noble. Jose.
Well, what I would like to say on this is basically that the existing model that we have is insufficient for all the demand. And it's not that the model itself is bad. The problem is that the capacity that the model has today, the offering of liquid cash, is definitely very, very undervalued to the whole demand, and it's less than 10% of the coverage. Including the accelerators that we have this problem that there's no way that all the accelerators in the world can even cover the amount of people that want to kick off. So there's definitely a lot of room in this space. And we might not underestimate that it's not only about cash. A big tranche of the problem, I would even dare to say the first 50% of that roadmap, is definitely about knowledge. And we cannot give them that knowledge in one shot. So they need to be able to have some time, and they need to be able to finance the time that they need for the knowledge. So I'm coming back here to what we are doing. So we are solving this problem right now. We just launched our first franchising. We want to scale further. We just sold a few master franchise licenses last week. So definitely we are going to bring to the market this special training program. We'll look at it like a speed accelerator, digital-wise, and the ecosystem that you need to build up that business. But more will come. So you can find me on LinkedIn, essentially. Just type down BizMoney with an E at the end, or just Jose Grasa with a C at the end, Draka in English, and you will find me definitely on that social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Adrian.
I would say that there is a big distinction between having resources and being resourceful. And because I see many pitches, everybody's looking for money, for investments, but many projects don't have a clue about, for example, how they will make money. And because being in the startup world is part of, how I call it, a contribution to a better future, because in this space you can see the next big companies. I'm always open to help as much as I can without asking for anything in return. Of course, at least at the beginning, to put something on the table. And I would say that everybody should or must be proactive, not reactive, not waiting for things to happen, but making any action which could trigger a series of events and making things happen. Be proactive and not reactive.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Yeah, I would say leverage your network and support founders however you can, even if it's not an investable opportunity at the point or something not of interest. Open up your network and connect individuals to others who may be helpful, or share resources. Hey, go look here for what you may need. I mean, personally, I've been doing that my entire career. I find a lot of value in providing that additional support for people. I don't ask for anything in return, but things do come back when you don't expect it. But I'd say just, be supportive, open up your network, and also be open-minded. Obviously look at it's got to be the right opportunity, but be open-minded to any type of individual or business, because you never know what opportunities you may uncover, and of course who you can really support and help their company grow. You can find me on LinkedIn, as well as my email, jason@propellant.vc.
Thank you, Jason. Gianpaolo, close us out.
Yes. What I see is when companies, and this is a message to founders and the managers alike, when companies are, presented with difficult choices, most founders and most managers tend to fall back into the comfort zone by default, because our human brain is engineered to go haywire and revert back to protection mode. And that's actually the moment of truth in which you have to challenge conventional wisdom and try to find into different resources, and that's where inclusion kicks in, the answer to your issues and to your problem. It's very difficult to choose in the moment of stress, despair, danger, but that's exactly the best moment for any organization to adopt and embrace change. And what better change than a different refreshing angle of someone who has a diverse background, or even from someone within the organization that was down deep the organizational chart ladder. And this is of course true mostly for multinationals and I would say large cap companies and middle cap companies, but somebody that may have an idea on how to do things better within the company, but has never been heard because nobody bothered to ask her or his opinion. I think that's really could provide good metrics for companies to see whether or not they're doing things right. Because I'm probably not the individual that you want to take as a benchmark, because I live without a comfort zone. So I do not expect others to be really like me. For me, if you really want to say that I have a comfort zone, okay, the comfort zone is the world. I mean, you can parachute me in Nepal or in Patagonia. For me, if I have to do what I have to do, I do it. But again, people come with their own backpack, like George Clooney said in the movie. And it's very difficult to abandon the backpack of what we consider values and precious experience to walk out naked, or anyway, at least lighter, without that luggage. But we have to do that, because without that, there is no renovation, there is no rejuvenation, there is sometimes not even a solution to the problems that we're facing, because we keep using the same resources, we get the same type of solutions, and we are still meandering, and wondering why it is that the situation is what it is. Well, why don't we challenge that once and for all, and live up to whatever the world is bringing and the life is bringing ahead in our own space as new, and it might be exciting. What do we have to lose? I'm Giampaolo Parigi. You can find me on email at giampaoloparigi1@gmail.com or on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you, everybody. Pleasure to see you today.
Thank you, Giampaolo. Thank you, everyone, as well, for your thoughts and insights and all the work that you're doing in business inclusion to help push that forward in various ways, as you mentioned. To our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, click subscribe, like, and share today's episode. Check out the archive on LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. A big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. You can find me along with all of our outstanding co-hosts and investors online 24/7, 365. Please do reach out. We'd love to hear more from you. Add context, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about. With that, everyone have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow on more VCTV. Take care.